Good morning, Simon.
They have other screwdrivers or this is it? Yeah, it's small. What's that? Yeah, it's small. Yeah, it's small or too big? It's small. This is good enough. This is small.
Morning, Simon. I can't hear you, huh? You can pause to hear replay. Yes. Do I hear replay?
Oh no, don't tell me that Simon's audio is not working today.
Yes, but remember we set that up. Can you hear me, Fanny?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
He might have to be the puppeteer and you will be the speaker.
No, Simon, drive over to my house right now if you can. Oh my God.
There you go,
Prepared.
Simon. Yep.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning. Yeah, so Simon, we've got to fix your audio there. Do you have maybe something connected to your audio plug, that's like is it going to a Bluetooth thing? Or gosh, we've been meeting all summer and never had this problem. So
Don't do that to me, Simon.
now I think
Maybe reboot your computer. We have like a few minutes.
well, I get my guess is that it has to do with his audio plug, but good. One option would be to call the phone number that's in the chat and or that's in the invite, and then you can talk over the phone. So let me just pull that up. Okay, Simon, I'm sending you or putting into the chat the phone number. And I'm also gonna text that to you. Good morning, everyone who's coming in. Good morning, Darlene. What a beautiful picture you have behind you. So you're muted. You're muted right now. I'll give you there you go.
Oh,
Yeah, everyone's coming in muted since we've sort of trying to set it up as a webinar, but I hear you talking, so I'll give you a chance to unmute here since we're at the beginning. There you go.
Here I go. Good morning, everybody. I just said I'm in Monet's garden this morning.
I see that.
I thought that would be a good way to start the semester. See, you cannot unmute yourself. Okay.
Yeah, no, just figured with not knowing how many people were going to come this morning, we set it up so everybody's muted. And then as people will talk, we will unmute them, and then we'll also use the chat primarily.
Sounds good. Well, welcome back, everyone.
Well, we do have a, hey, listen to that, Simon.
Sorry for the delay here. There is multiple tech happening here that when you have to call in with a phone and you are the host, it's quite difficult to unmute yourself. However, you are all muted and I had to remove some of the unmute off. So we're going to ask all participants at this point to keep themselves muted for until you are called upon. So that we can deal with our tech issues. The meeting is going to be starting very shortly here. There are 45 participants who are early morning risers and have made it to this meeting before the meeting time. So you get to listen to our tech wrangles while we figure out how to make sure we connect with everyone. I'd like to check and make sure that the other officers right now are all unmuted. So I'm going to do a short roll call of the officers. I can hear that Catherine is here because I've heard her voice. Is that correct, Catherine? Are we connecting?
Yes, can you hear me?
Perfect. I can hear you. You can hear me. Fanny, can you hear me? And can I hear you?
yep.
Perfect. Fanny is unmuted. I'm looking through the 45 participants. Is Mitra?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
I'm here. Hey, everybody.
So thank you all for your patience and for being early morning risers. We're going to get started in just a moment. Because those 4 officers, we're going to try something here at the very beginning. I hope Alexis will appreciate this. We're going to try to figure out a way to conduct business. We've never done a plenary session in this format before. So there are things that normally at the normal meeting, we're going to try to figure out how to include people, including taking a vote, which will just be sort of an informal here of adopting the agenda. Officers, when I ask for someone to, when we get to the adoption of the agenda, would you mind if I sort of preload things and ask the officers to move and second the motion so that I can then ask all members to vote through the chat feature? We didn't check in about this yet.
Yep.
Okay. That will allow us to allow everyone else to remain muted that is attending the meeting. But for everyone, for the 60 people that are now attending the meeting, congratulations. You've successfully connected and are listening to our little pre-meeting. We'll be starting in a moment. At the end of the meeting, we are going to be trying to ask questions if we can have enough time. In the meantime, we encourage all of you to use the chat feature. You should all have access to the chat feature. And one of the things that we are inhibited by in our digital format is just getting to see each other. So if you're scrolling through the tiles and want to reconnect with your colleagues, go right ahead. We've already seen that Darlene has a wonderful background this morning. I almost wanted to try to play games and tricks this morning by having puppetry going on here at this meeting, but that we'll have to leave that for another time because we have enough tech challenges. So it is now 8 a.m. There are 74 people logged on to this meeting. We're going to wait for a few more minutes because normal plenary sessions never start exactly on time. So at 8:05, we will start the official proceedings of the plenary session. In the meantime, welcome all. It's so nice to see you all, even by your just little tiled faces, because I've missed you all over the summer. officers, I'm curious if some of the tech issues that I'm having with my audio are because I set up this morning a live stream. So this meeting is also being live streamed on YouTube. Participants, I include that because if you're having Zoom connections on the screen right now, you can, if you do get kicked off and you jump over to YouTube and search for this, you will be able to find the live stream of this meeting. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I feel a little bit like movie phone here. I'm going to repeat myself until we start the meeting. Thank you all. There are 92 participants right now, and we are going to be starting our plenary session in just a few moments. Right now, we've got you all muted. We do encourage you to participate in the chat feature while the meeting is going on. And we will be trying to elicit questions and unmute people. If we have time at the end of the meeting, we're hoping to have a forum for questions. But for right now, we're just asking you to leave yourself muted because we have 101 participants right now in this meeting. 101 people have gotten up at 8 a.m. in the morning to attend the Academic Senate Plenary. We are going to be starting the meeting in just about 2 minutes. I should announce to everyone, we will be recording this meeting for any of your colleagues that are not early morning risers and don't get up at 8 a.m. We will be recording this meeting and we'll be sending a link out afterwards for all the people that said, oh, something interesting was said at plenary, but I missed it. We'll send out the link afterwards. This is one of the advantages of this technology. In the meantime, feel free to chat with each other. I'm so happy to see you all. The meeting will be starting in just a few minutes. We are very excited right now to have 109 participants who have logged on to this meeting. Good morning and welcome to the Academic Senate Plenary Session. We will be starting in just a few moments. In the meantime, feel free to use the chat feature to connect with your colleagues. We currently have 117 participants or people that are up early enough to log into our Academic Senate Plenary Session. Bets can be taken on whether we're going to set a record here. If we go over 300 participants, we have broken our Academic Senate YouTube account, and that means we will have to shift to live streaming. This meeting is currently being live streamed on YouTube as well if you have connection difficulties. We will also be recording this meeting shortly and then be putting out a link to this meeting after the meeting. So for any faculty that were not able to attend this morning, we will be sending out a link so that they can watch it at their leisure. Okay, it is now 8:06 and we currently have 126 participants attending this meeting. Thank you all very much for attending the Academic Senate Plenary session. Let's officially call this meeting to order, but before we do that, Mitra, are you going to press the record button?
I am.
Let's do a tech check and make sure that the record's working before we officially call the meeting to order.
Okay.
Awesome. I just heard Zoom tell me the meeting is being recorded. So that's like a gavel. I guess that's our digital gavel. The meeting is being recorded. Is now the official click of the gavel. Let's call this meeting to order. This is an unprecedented time. I am very happy to see 128 participants at this meeting, but we're going to be dealing with a little bit of technology adaptation. Some of that is going to have to be with how we want to make connection with all of you, but we can't make connection with everyone in this format. So we're going to try to use the same format of a meeting under Zoom, which will have some advantages and disadvantages. We're encouraging everyone here to stay muted for the first part of the meeting. At the end of the meeting, we're going to have a forum where we're going to try to have some questions and answers, but we do encourage you to use the chat feature and take questions and make notes as the meeting goes on. Our first order of business is to adopt the agenda. So I will now
I move that we adopt the agenda.
Second.
Catherine Weiss has moved that we adopt the agenda, and Fanny Law has seconded that we adopt the agenda. Now here's where we see how all right, I'm going to ask you all in favor of adopting the agenda. Raise your blue hand in Zoom while I try to figure out where the poll feature disappeared on my. Okay, I get it. Here. Okay, I'm going to do this informally. We were going to use a poll feature. We have 134 participants. And our first technical glitch. If you are a participant in this meeting, please go and click on the participant button and go to raise your blue hand. My little feature shows me that there are 74, 75, 77, 78, 79, 80, 84, 85, 86, 88 participant hands, 90 participant hands. So I'm verbally reading over what I'm seeing on the screen. There are 91 participant hands. That's a majority of the 140. We have just adopted the agenda in a very informal way. So thank you all very, very much. As you can see, part of the challenge we're dealing with here is how to engage with people in an interaction. We've been talking a lot about this. We've laid good work at the Senate last year for how we're going to conduct our meetings digitally. And the college is moving forward in how it's conducting our meeting digitally. So we have just adopted this agenda that you're seeing on the screen in front of you. As we make these, as we move forward, I really just want to acknowledge this is an unprecedented time. So we're going to move to officers' reports and welcome an introduction. The first thing that I just have to acknowledge here is that these are really unprecedented times, but we've continued. It was unprecedented times last spring, and now it's continued that way. The normal format of introduction to a meeting is we kind of as officers show up and tell you what we did over our summer vacation, but none of us got summer vacation. And the four people that are on the screen in front of you, the three people actually, because myself is just myself, but the first vice president is Fanny Law. The second vice president is Catherine Weiss. and the secretary is Mitra Sapienza. These officers have done tireless work over the summer to try to keep the college and engaged in the college. And I just want to acknowledge that at the very beginning and thank them very, very much, because we wouldn't even have this meeting, and to be able to keep moving forward and try to stay connected is going to, from all of us, take more effort and more mastery of a new skill. Just like every faculty member right now is trying to master Canvas because we are forced to do it. If we're going to continue with our collegiality and going to continue with our participatory governance, we all are going to develop skills, and I have been really impressed with the amount of dedication that I've just seen from the officers. They're not the only ones. I'm really excited that we are back in college, or in regular session, even though we are not physically together, because this means we're going to start to have regular meetings of the Academic Senate Executive Council. And last spring, you elected a brand new Academic Senate Executive Council. I'm going to read off their names right now, and if they're in the tiles, just quickly for time here, I'm going to ask you to wave so that people can you can raise your blue hand. Our new council members are Octavio Alvarez from ESL, Abigail Bornstein from CNIT. You also have an applaud function, which you can use randomly at any time under reactions in Zoom. Stephen Brown from Horticulture, Amy Diaz Infante from Art, Nixora Furman from Counseling, Ben Finiteri from ESL, Katya Fuchs from Math, Nicole Krupp-Ost from Art, Gregory Keach from ESL, Stephanie McCollar from English, Jeanette Mull from PE and Dance, Michelle McKinsey from Library, Sherry Maraglia from Biology, Madeline Mueller from Music, Douglas Oyoung from PE and Dance, Joe Reyes from Biology, Pablo Rodriguez from Transitional Studies, Lou Schubert from Social Science, Kevin Sherman from Cinema, Michelle Sieglitz from BEMA, Michelle Samotis from English, Connie Staff from PE and Dance, Chad Stevenson from Library, Marie Varelius from Library, and Christine Yanuaria from ESL. Now, if we were not muting all of you right now, I just want you to know that there is an amazing amount of applause that would be going on right now in the virtual space. So if you go to the bottom of your screen and click on reactions, you can all digitally applaud. This is your Academic Senate Executive Council for next year. Academic Senate Executive Council meetings are going to start next week with an orientation, and our first business meeting is on September 2nd. Those meetings all take place on Wednesday afternoons, and all faculty are welcome to attend. Part of the power this morning of having 146 faculty log on by Zoom is it's a lot easier to pay attention digitally to what's going on in the Senate, and we're going to try to keep that open and keep the doors open. I imagine we are now setting a record for how many participants, because we have 147 people participating. I also imagine that we are setting a record for how many people are participating not wearing pants. I'm going to go to officers' reports next. As president, I'm going to first start with my officers' report. And this is the meeting, the part of the meeting where we tell you what we did over our summer vacation or summer break. This is going to be a Gatling gun because boy, does a lot, this college is quite different now than it was. So if you actually got a vacation, then maybe you don't know that we have a new chancellor coming into this fall. We're a little pressed this morning. We're going to be running by time to make sure that we can all end this meeting by 9 o'clock where we can listen to the chancellor's address. That chancellor comes in then with a different changeover in our administration, but it comes at a time at which things were changing very, very fast at the college anyways, and a lot of things were lined up. We have a history here of the college of trying to find the person and say, well, we're going to say that person is in charge now today, and then we're going to blame them for everything else. This chancellor is having a very challenging time to come in to sort of like boarding a speeding train and then being asked to guide a speeding train that's moving. One of the things that the chancellor has to deal with is weeks within his being seated as the new chancellor, there was a tentative budget that was adopted. That tentative budget was historically different than other budgets. Normally, there is a thick budget book that is adopted at the end of June. This year, everything was delayed because of COVID. They adopted a tentative budget in July. That tentative budget, instead of being a thick 100-page booklet, was only 7 pages of financial numbers, high-level, just top-level financial numbers. And if you didn't hear, that tentative budget is a deficit budget. More money was found in deficit last year, and in order to make sure that we were keeping a 5% reserve, the board at the end of July passed guidance to be able to borrow $21 million from our OPEB or other post-employee benefits funds in order to not go below that 5%. That vote was kind of funny. It was a unique vote because basically the budget was lined up in such a way that they first said, we don't want to do this, and they didn't pass it. And then they realized the college wouldn't keep running unless they were past that budget. So they rescinded their vote and they passed the borrowing. This is because what they were presented with was a devil's bargain of a budget that they had no other choice. And that other choice would be either to go under 5% or to borrow. This has caused an issue as well with our operational budgets. We've rolled over a tentative budget. The college is operating. But we've been told that a final budget is going to come with all the detail in October. So you're coming back to a college that is working with a 7-page budget. Budgets have been released, but they're all going to be refined in the next few months. Part of this operational budgets may influence our operations. For example, the Senate is already having issues. We're trying to get answers on, well, what's our travel budget for this year? How much is we going to have for professional development? And those types of things you may feel stalled when you come back and go, normally, I have all this lined up for me when we come. But the budget is going to cause some disruptions to operations as we just refine things. The other big issue is when this budget was passed, that also technically, if we were not below 5%, that would have told the ACCJC that we had a plan for making our budget whole. That plan is now in development of 3 plans which are going to be presented by October. Those plans will deal with budget, will deal with enrollment, and will deal with recruitment or revenue or enrollment management, budget, enrollment management, and revenue plans. All of those plans have been, or the idea that we have plans has been communicated to the ACCJC. And from what we have heard, we can expect that the ACCJC this semester is going to ask us for increased reporting so that we can explain those plans. Those plans have to have a way that we're paying back that $21 million we just borrowed. So there is a communication that has happened over the summer. I asked that the Senate be involved in that communication. When the new chancellor came in, the chancellor contacted. I have asked the chancellor that he broadcast everything that he communicates with the ACCJC to the faculty at large. I've tried to be very clear to say we are not a normal faculty where the ACCJC is concerned. Many of us have post-traumatic stress still, and we want to be communicated with on all dealings with our accreditor. And we want to know where we can participate in this process. And we want to be sure that faculty are participating in this process. One of those plans is an organizational plan, and the chancellor has already moved over the summer in releasing an administrative organization. He has proposed that this administrative organization will take place in 2 parts. The first part will be upper level administrative organization, which is what you are seeing, his proposal that was adopted by the board at the end of July. The second level is a mid-level administrative reorganization. That second level is due or is promised to us by October. We have also asked that we have input on these plans as they are being developed with this tight timeline. So there are 3 plans in the works that you should see in the next few weeks: budget, organization, and revenue. The officers have been meeting with Dr. Verdian, our chancellor, and in our last meeting, he arranged to have vice chancellors show up at the academic senate meeting on September 2nd to explain these plans and to get faculty input. Now, in the past, our faculty input has been, I would say, somewhat compromised. So we are working to try to make sure that this is brought forward to the Senate as a whole And we are asking how this is going to be brought forward. For example, the budget needs to be brought to the budget committee. Enrollment management should be involved in the enrollment plan. We are asking to reestablish the committee structures that we normally have that give faculty input. We have heard positive on that faculty should be involved. So the messaging is not get the plan past you. It's yes, we want faculty to be involved, but the reality is we're going to have 3 months to come up with these plans. So this is going to be a little dancing between old practice of just come up with a plan the day before it's due and new practice of have enough time for faculty input. So expect an exciting next 3 months here. Under COVID, we are all dealing with COVID accommodations. And I just want to acknowledge before we go any further that I said the officers were doing incredible work this summer. All faculty are doing incredible work this summer. Just watching the acknowledgement of how much people have signed up and are immediately getting trained to put their classes on Canvas. We have been working all summer on trying to figure out whether we could reopen. When we started in June, the assumption was we will be reopened by fall. Now we are 100% starting in remote education, and that is not an easy task. So I just want to acknowledge the tremendous work that faculty are doing right now. So all courses are opening for remote instruction. We have a priority list of classes that will be open for in-person instruction because there are many programs that need to meet their accreditation requirements. They cannot go to a remote. So that has been established, and this semester, as conditions change, there is a priority that nursing and classes that have practicals will be the first ones to open. But this will all depend upon external conditions. We are getting broadcasts from the Department of Public Health on a weekly basis. The easiest way to learn about this or to keep in contact on a communication train is through the departments because there's so much variability. So department chairs should have the most specific details, but I just want to state out here before saying just run to your department chair. Communication has been difficult this summer. Even the department chairs have had a challenging job of trying to get information and then transmit that information and then to transmit up the administrative chain the information they've heard. So what we are going to need as a college is going to need to come back knowing that everyone is stressed. We are all doing the amazing. We are all going above and beyond. And we have to figure out how to take care of each other, even those who are in our administrative chain or our department chairs or our fellow faculty, because you're not coming back into a normal time here, and grace is needed. Some of the things that the Senate has done. Last spring, when we broke for the summer, the president of the Senate was endowed with what Alexis and I call golden gavel powers to make decisions in absence. I have not used those golden gavel powers except for with one exception. Last spring, we adopted much more accommodating policies for withdrawing from classes. We adopted an excused withdrawal, and we made a decision that all classes were available for pass, no pass to help our students in the COVID crisis. That crisis is continuing. So we have made a verbal agreement that this semester we will be extending the EW annotation for students who have withdrawn and the pass, no pass options for students that have withdrawn. However, these are not options that are open for the whole time. Our regular withdrawal date was November 5th. We have negotiated with administration to have that date moved to November 20th. That is the Friday before Thanksgiving. And the idea is if we all can communicate to our students right now that this is their withdrawal date option, then that is the majority of the semester to decide whether this class fits their needs or whether they're going to come back and take it again, or whether they want to, because life changed through them a COVID curve, that they will get out of the class. So November 20th is the date that students have to withdraw out of classes with no repercussions. The EW doesn't affect their financial aid and it doesn't affect their repeatability. The pass, no pass option is there, but I encourage us to counsel our students to the best use of that before November 20th so that classes, we don't disrupt their future potential of whatever they want to do with their classes. These are all policies that we have moved forward on to try to protect students and to try to lower the bar for consequences during this pandemic. You may also know that the website has been updated. This was also an effort that took many, many hands and had many, many components. And I know if we opened it up right now to just open discussion, there would be many, many more confusion or complaints with the website. But I want to acknowledge that there's a group of faculty who worked really hard over the summer to even make what you see before you in the new website happen, and they deserve our praise. We are a complicated institution with multiple parts. Our website is not unitary. And as we all understand, we have issues with banner, we have issues with registration, we have issues with the interface that is not part of the website. And there are a lot of people that are working really, really hard right now, but we are going to have some technology disruptions. These things were set in place years ago. Now they're arriving. It's a lot easier to just say, well, why did we do all of this? We are where we are, which is kind of my overall ending to my report here. Communication is going to be challenging this semester because we're all going to have to extend out a little bit here. We're not in a situation where things are in a perfect world. We are in a situation where we were dealing with the world as it goes. And dealing with the world as it goes, we have an option. That option can be to sit back and go, I just don't like the way it changes, or to see, yes, we have broken things. Let's go pick up the pieces. And we have a place at which faculty who have been the ones who have consistently been able to repair things at this college can have a voice to pick up the pieces of where we are. And we're not hearing at this point, we don't want you involved in the future of this college. So you're going to hear in a few moments about our committee structures. Our committee structures and our faculty voice are going to be more important than ever. They're not going to be one where we're going to hear that immediately things have deferred to faculty. And yet, if we don't strengthen and support our participatory structures as they exist, then there isn't an architecture for us to be able to say, this is what we should have built out of the parts of things that have been disrupted by COVID and disrupted by other factors. And we're going to have to then present forward the college that we're going to have in the future. So I am very excited that you are all here. That concludes my president's report. I'm going to turn this over to the first vice president, Fannie Law.
Good morning, everyone. Here we are kicking off fall 2020, and I feel like we got on this roller coaster in March and we kept on climbing upward, and it looks like I no longer see the tracks ahead of me. So we teachers are professional planners, and we plan our lessons to help students meet the SLOs, and we can also think on our feet when circumstances arise. So this semester is for sure going to be a bumpy ride, but we're in it together. So let's stay positive. And a lot happened in summer, and also a lot didn't happen in summer. The silo mentality and operating in silos have not moved us forward. Faculty are great in number. If we operate in silos, it's just chaos. But we'd be good models by being effective communicators and collaborators, sharing our common goals and priorities. We have good structures to allow us to communicate and collaborate. We have a long list of committees with members across all disciplines and experiences. And our passion draws us together. And I hope that you see joining a committee can be a way to align us horizontally. If you can't commit to joining a committee, by all means, attend a meeting and talk with your colleagues. Keep the conversation going. Non-credit faculty have been reaching out to the community to find students we lost due to the pandemic and to sign up for classes, as we are just beginning to get some support from the administration. And the observable fact that we're kind of on our own gives us more reasons to unify as a collective force to work together. And we are all teaching remotely, and there's the roundtable for teaching and learning with technology, and we need your input. Please share your challenges and expertise. Also, Ocean Campus will be transformed by the new building development during the next few years. Are you going to work in these new buildings? So please take a little break from Canvas and amplify your faculty voice in the building user groups. I'll have more information about that. And budget crisis. I honestly never read the entire tentative budget, but I so did this last tentative budget, which has only 7 pages. Listen in to these meetings, compare our notes, share our notes with each other, with our PGC budget committee members. ACCJC midterm report is due in mid-October, and these are all huge and complex issues. Faculty's voice is essential, and we all love this college, even though it seems like a little broken, and I hope that we will join each other to rebuild it. I don't want to take too much time, and I'm sure that we have a lot more to share this year. I'm gonna pass the time back to Simon. Oh, Simon can't hear you. I guess I'll pass the time to our second Vice President, Katrin.
So good morning, everybody. I'm Katrin Weiss, and I've put on your screen the Academic Senate website. Yes, a lot's been going on this summer for every single one of us. It's the first time in teaching in my entire career, which is over 20 years here at City College, that I have had no summer. I have worked the entire summer in preparing the massive amount of work that's necessary to turn courses into online courses. So I could talk for a while on that, but I'll stop there. I'm sure that there's many of you in the same boat. But one of the other things, of course, I've assisted with is some of the editing for departments on websites for the new website. And every department should have a website content editor, so you can take a look at your own websites and try to improve them. But the academic website, as with most of the website at City College, is in progress. And if you notice things on the website that aren't working, please let us know right away, because we can fix it right away. But I just wanted to orient you a bit to it, because as Fanny was just mentioning, if you want to know more about the committees, you can just come and click on committees, and that will take you to a page that has information about how to join, and you can click on each of the individual committees to learn more about them. If you want to know when the meetings are going to be held this semester, you can go ahead and look on this page, and it'll tell you exactly when our meetings meet. And there's a link to the meeting materials, which will also include the agendas and eventually approved minutes and all the details you might need to know about those meetings. But if you just want to know what's upcoming, come to the front main page, and always the next 2 upcoming meetings will appear, as well as a link to the agendas, how to submit agenda items, the materials for the meetings, and any public notices. So hopefully you can find what you need here. I will say that one of the amazing things about using Zoom when it works is how much people help each other in the chat, because I noticed that right away people asked about registration and someone gave an answer, and there's been this complete string of people registering by signing in through the chat. So if you didn't pick up on that, please add your name to the chat so that we get a indication of who exactly was participating. And the only last thing I'll say is about the meetings we've been having with the new chancellor, and that has been an excellent opportunity. We've been meeting with him almost weekly since he arrived, and I do think that we're building a good relationship with him, and that the faculty voice, as much as possible, is being shared in a way that we hope will be constructive at supporting programs at the college. So I will now move it on to our secretary, Mitra.
Hey, everybody. Nice to see you all. I'm Mitra Sapienza, English faculty, and serving as your secretary this year. Very excited. And I won't repeat all of the wonderful things that our other officers have said today, but I'm just very excited to venture forth into this new uncharted territory with all of you. I look forward to learning from all of you and supporting all of you in the best ways that I can. And just to add a little bit about the summer activities, I'm very excited to to share that we've been doing a lot of work with our Administration of Justice Department in collaboration with our LGBTQ studies, ethnic studies. So there's more to come. So that's just a little teaser for plans ahead. Yeah, thank you all for being here.
All right. Simon, Catherine, can you put the agenda up? Do you have the agenda?
Did Simon disappear?
No, I think he's still kind of working his phone.
Okay, yeah. Well, so I put that up. I put up the web page because there was let's see, no other.
I think the next report.
Oh, there we go. He's got it. He's got it up now, right?
But I'm not sure if I can hear him. Can you say something, Simon? Okay, I'm gonna read your lips. What's the next item on the agenda?
Well, I can actually go to the agenda because, as we mentioned, it's all right here on the main website. So if you just click on agenda, there's the agenda for the plenary.
Right, okay, so, the next item is AFT 2121. Malika?
So I will unmute Malika right now, and hopefully she's ready to go. It's just with 163 people now getting to Malika. Or did you manage to unmute yourself?
I think I unmuted myself.
Okay, you did. Great.
Okay.
Cool. Hi, good morning. I will try to make this quick, but there's a lot. Where do we even start with this? Okay, so as you know, we've been in bargaining this summer, and we'll continue in impacts bargaining in the fall. They came to us demanding either save money through wage concessions or save money through layoffs. We said that we were willing to talk about that, but first that we needed real information and a real budget so we knew what we were working with. And there was this was at the beginning of the summer, and there was a giant scramble to get us information, and the information kept changing, and the state budget kept changing, and nobody knew what was going on. And finally, the district stopped the process and said, you know what, we're not going to ask you for concessions. And my personal feeling about why that happened was because they didn't have the information. They had what finally turned into a 7 or 8 page budget, which didn't include the information that we would need to actually have substantive negotiations. So we didn't have substantive negotiations after all of that work. And they committed, as Simon said, to a budget that included 1,200 FTE, which is way down from last year. Last fall was 1,400. Now we're supposed to be at 1,200 without cutting anyone's wages and still honoring the 3rd year of our contract. And then immediately started cutting classes below 1,200 and laying off librarians, cutting programs, cutting non-instructional assignments, finding other ways to save money that were not anticipated in what they told us they would do. So we were able to push back about that. We were able to temporarily stop the class cuts last week. So that gave classes a little bit of breathing room. And in that time, some classes filled. So that was helpful, but it was a temporary reprieve. So most of you probably know this week we did sign an agreement on enrollment and class size. So class size minimum for this semester will be 15 instead of 20. That's just for this semester. Classes in credit that have at least 10 students can run for the first 2 weeks of the semester before they're going to be required to hit 15. Classes in non-credit can run for the first 4 weeks of the semester regardless of enrollment. So that gives classes time to fill, and a lot of that was because non-credit students haven't had a method of enrollment that works yet. I mean, even in credit, registration and enrollment is a giant barrier. In non-credit, there literally has not been a way to enroll. It's not just that people haven't been able to find it, it's that for some programs, there hasn't been a method. That's not true for all of non-credit, but for some. And so because of that, we were able to get 4 weeks for non-credit, which hopefully will give us time to actually contact students, have students find us, and get some people in classes. The other huge thing was around medical benefits. So we signed an agreement this week that says that for part-time faculty, what was happening with the class cuts is part-timers were being thrown off medical benefits in the middle of a global pandemic. So this agreement is kind of amazing. I don't know of anything like it in other places. What we signed was that any faculty member who was eligible for benefits as of August 1st, which was before this current round of class cuts, will retain their benefits for the semester. Normally, they would have to keep at least a 20% load. This time, they don't. So anyone who had benefits as of August 1st retains those benefits for the semester, even if their classes are cut, even if their programs are cut. The other piece of that was a lot of the cuts happened over the summer before August 1st, especially in the ESL department, was just decimated over the summer. So folks who were eligible for health benefits in spring are going to be eligible to maintain those benefits for fall semester. This is life-changing for some people. And anyway, so this is real. I've been getting a lot of questions. Is this real? Is this true? This doesn't make sense. Is this really a thing? It's really a thing. People really are keeping health benefits. It's incredible. It's nice to have good news to announce. I also wanted to clarify a little bit of what's going on with distance education. So instructors who are teaching in fall and who are going to be teaching in spring 2021 who are doing temporary online classes are required to do this temporary training. Most of us, many of us anyway, have already done it this summer. We negotiated for some pay for it, but there were still a lot of questions. What happens to instructors who didn't know they were going to be teaching and then get a late start class, who or who didn't have a chance to pass to do the training at all, are supposed to have an assignment but they haven't been sure? What happens to those folks? So we have a new thing just recently. The new clarification, the exact language is, lack of prior training in temporary remote instruction shall not be considered a disqualifying factor when making instructional assignments. Basically what that means is, if you haven't been trained, you can still teach, with the understanding that the college will provide more training and you'll take the training. So you'll probably start the training around the same time you start your assignment. So nobody should be not assigned just because they haven't had a chance to do the training or haven't completed the training. This is going to be really important because the training is still going to be required for remote classes in spring if we're still remote. So the college is going to have to provide more training opportunities, and there's folks who aren't teaching right now but do expect to teach in the spring, they're going to need the training. Okay. Just last night, we signed an agreement with new and expanded leave provisions for fall. And I'll go through this quickly because there's a lot. We'll get it. It was just signed last night. We'll get it posted on our website soon for people who want to see the details. Short version, some faculty have been assigned to work in person in the fall, mostly in the nursing programs. There's going to be more work in person in the future, we hope. And there's going to be a lot of work in person, we hope, in the spring, although no one's really sure. For faculty who are assigned to work in person, some faculty simply can't do it, either because they are part of a high-risk group, they're immunocompromised for whatever reason. For those people, the district is going to try to provide alternative remote assignments. Faculty can use sick leave, faculty can use VSLB. Full-time faculty can give up the in-person part of their assignment and carry a load balance. And for this purpose, we've expanded. Normally, you can only carry a load balance up to 3 units. For this purpose, you can carry a load balance up to 6. Not that anyone really wants to do that, but sometimes people need to. Part-time faculty can give up the in-person component of their assignment without sacrificing reemployment right, modal load, seniority, or benefits. That's for fall, the benefits part, I'm sorry, for fall. And all faculty can take unpaid leave up to a year without it counting as a break in service. There's also situations where somebody can't work in person or remote. This applies to remote as well. And that's because of the sort of the increased workload and responsibility. Maybe you're caring for someone who's ill, or maybe you have children at home who would normally be in school, but they're at home and you have to take care of them. And it's clearly COVID related. Even if it doesn't involve someone being sick, it's a COVID related issue that we're dealing with. And many faculty are in this position. So this part is for fall only, not for spring. We signed an agreement that faculty can use sick leave for caretaking if you're actually caring for somebody who's ill. And again, full-time faculty can increase their load balance. Part-time faculty can give up a piece of an assignment if they need to, and all faculty can take unpaid leave if they need it. This is not ideal, this is not perfect, but it gets us a chunk of what we need. There are also some things that we have not settled that we're still working on. So one of them is we propose that the district provide the technology we need to work remotely, and in the cases where the district can't provide it, that they reimburse us for it. Faculty have spent, in addition to the work we've done over the summer, we spent a lot of money over the summer, of our own money, of buying computer equipment. An employer is supposed to provide us what we need to do our jobs. It's not supposed to be on us. So we made this proposal, and the district sort of scratched their head about it, and they did acknowledge that they have some responsibility towards providing us equipment, but they haven't come back and told us how they're going to meet that responsibility. So that's still up in the air. We also proposed an enrollment management piece that, because of the chaos around the closure in spring, the limited resources over the summer, everything being online for summer and fall, it's a giant mess, that we not use our current low enrollment in future enrollment management decisions. That they rejected that out of hand. We're going to have to figure out some way to make enrollment management make sense in this context, and we don't know what that's going to be yet. So that's a quick, not so quick, sorry, bargaining update. There is something that I wanted to bring up because this is Academic Senate specifically. And that is what's happening with program closures. So people come to us, people come to AFT with questions about program closures, and it's not really AFT purview, it's Academic Senate purview. But people come to us because we're loud, and we're there, and we're visible, and we have some capacity to organize people to fight for what they need. And so when people need to fight for what they need, they come to ask us questions. And I am going to encourage, over the next 2 years that I'm union president, I'm going to encourage the Academic Senate to get involved in this discussion and this fight, and to also be a place that people can come to talk about what's happening with program closures. It really is Academic Senate purview. So, for instance, the older adults program. So the cuts of last year, even before the pandemic, decimated the program to the point that, there's a few classes, but it's not the same program. So is that something the Academic Senate could weigh in on? I don't know. It is something worth discussing. Another piece that's looming over our heads right now is what's happening with the aircraft maintenance program and the motorcycle program. So many of you know the airport finally kicked us out after threatening to for many years. So we have to get all of our stuff out of the airport campus, which means there are no aircraft maintenance classes currently, fall 2020, it's not happening. And they're trying to move the program to the Evans campus. So there's a massive scramble to set up the facility there. I don't know if it's going to be successful. At the airport campus, they have a hangar. At Evans, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think there's plans to build a hangar in the parking lot. I think they're going to have to move into the building. But that building's full. And the floor plan that they have suggested will eliminate the motorcycle program. So nothing's final yet. Nobody knows what's going to happen. They have through the end of December to do an enormous amount of work with, as far as I know, no solid plans yet. I mean, I'm not up on all the details, but this is what I'm hearing from the folks at Evans. So again, this is something that Academic Senate might want to consider. Will this cause the closure of the motorcycle program? Will this impact the auto maintenance program and the other programs at Evans? What's going to happen to the aircraft maintenance program itself? Can it be reestablished in the way that it needs to be? So I'm hoping that these are issues that Academic Senate wants to chew on. And I'm also hoping that as union president, I'll have a lot more chance to bring issues that I think Academic Senate might want to chew on, and that Academic Senate wants to bring issues that AFT wants to chew on to us. Thank you. It has been quite a whirlwind. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Malika, for all the work that you have done. Simon, are you on?
Testing. Can you hear me?
Okay, good.
Thank you. Sorry, I have literally had a tech explosion happening right here, so this is part of our challenges. I do want to address just some things, and then the last portion of our meeting, because we have about 10 minutes left, is going to be an open forum. For open forum, if you want to raise your blue hand or type a question into the text, into the chat box, we will try to address those questions formally. The other thing that I guess I want to announce or comment on just in response to the AFT report, program closure is something we've already engaged dialogue with the new administration about. I will let you know that there is a Senate process that is quite lengthy for program closure and revitalization. My general impression right now is that that is a stick that the administration does not want to encounter because it requires a lengthy process of studying. So we have already used that, and I've already indicated very clearly to the chancellor that this is a concern of ours of when we do this, what my colleague used to say, murder by tiny duck bites. If you end up closing something and you have less students, for example, aircraft maintenance, the issue is not the program closing, because they can say, we have a plan for a program in the future. But if that program drives students away because you shut the doors for a semester, then when does it trigger the program revitalization? And we have already argued that program revitalization should be part of a normal Senate process involved in program review, that you should include faculty in these discussions before you get to the point that there is now no one if that left in that program. So we are actively pursuing that. The other thing we are actively pursuing, which is unprecedented at the college, is Malika and us and AFT, Senate, SEIU, Classified Senate have all started to just check in with each other and trying to have meetings to gather information so that we are working in unity for the best of the college. And there is not a process of a divide and conquer even amongst our college constituencies. So that is something that is starting to take place as well, just to give us some hope for what this crisis ongoing crisis may start to produce something positive. It's already starting to produce the people that care about this college. We are all trying to figure out how to not play off each other and how to not have a program die because you decrease students in one part, but you didn't undergo the Senate process in another. As long as those things are still separated and not a unified discussion, we're going to have a hard time moving forward. Program review is going to become more important in the next year. And we're going to be pushing for that as an alternate. You don't want us to go through program discontinuance, then we should be looking and reviving our program. Let's look at, we have a queue. Catherine, I'm going to ask for some tech help here because I'm now by phone. I don't want to touch anything.
Connie is first up and she is unmuted. So go ahead, Connie.
Yes, hi to everyone. Hey, I just wanted to thank Malika and all the AFT officers and you all, our Senate officers, because I have some understanding from the past of what you had to do this summer, but actually I don't, because we haven't faced what you've faced ever in the past. So I just applaud you. I also applaud all the temporary distance education trainers. They also did not get a summer, and although it wasn't enough training to actually feel 100% just because I haven't worked with Canvas before. They did a Herculean effort all summer long. So I just have nothing but gratitude for all of you. Thank you so very much for representing us.
Thank you, Connie. So up next is Anne. Anne, can you unmute yourself? Anne Mayer?
I think I have,
Yep.
yes. Thank you. I just want to bring to your attention information I got last night that the lottery budget for all of allied health and nursing is now $25,000. And that's pretty much what I had from my department alone in the past. So I'm wondering where all that money is being diverted to. In the past, it had been diverted from us when Susan Lamb came on board. We finally received lottery money for the first time, and now it looks like it's been taken away. And I just wanted to put that on everybody's radar. Thank you.
Thanks, Anne. Christopher, go ahead.
Oh, hi, yes. I was, thank you guys very much for all that you've been doing. When you mentioned the minimum enrollment numbers and the timeline, one of the things that I think I missed is what happens to those, let's say, full-time instructors in classes that don't meet the minimum enrollment numbers? I don't want to say position removal, but what happens to those instructors if they are in a load where those classes are minimally enrolled this fall?
Simon, do you want to answer the question?
So the question that I heard was, what happens to those classes that are low enrolled to the instructor? This is exactly what I think Malika was just addressing with trying to get the assurances of where we are. I can tell you that other bargaining units have argued that that jobs should be protected. I can tell you politically at the state, we have heard two things. One is an effort to try to say we should not be using our decrease in revenue, which, by the way, the lottery money, the reason it's disrupted is because the state revenue for lottery money went down. So the college has decreased lottery monies. We are not sure if that's proportionate to what the state money went down. At the state level, for those people who want to get active in state politics, there are people who are now asking and saying the issue is exactly what was just raised. If we end up cutting money and students go away, should we be cutting offerings because we know we're going to be needed when the economic bounce back comes? So there are people who are asking right now to protect positions, not to protect hold harmless funding, but to protect a hold harmless to faculty or to instruction. And those are two separate questions that are being worked out right now. I don't have an answer. That's where the union is in the middle of negotiations, and the Senate is just trying to watch as well and trying to advocate for our programs.
All right, so we're 1 minute till 9 o'clock. We do have a lot of questions and comments in the chat. I'm taking notes on all the questions, and then we'll communicate with the answers via email, or we'll bring the issues up in the collegial consultation. Simon, do you want to wrap things up, and then we'll move on to the next meeting?
I would like to encourage you, because we have to wrap up this meeting, to stay in contact with us. There will be our first official Senate meeting is on September 2nd. We are having an orientation next Wednesday for the Senate Council. Everyone is welcome to attend all of our meetings. They are public meetings. At the same time, if you're looking for a place to engage in this, our committee structure is we're going to do work this semester to tie that committee structure to the Senate, to empower the Senate to be able to address these things. My email is easily available if you have specific concerns. At the end of this meeting, I will be putting out a broadcast with connection to the links to this meeting. And if there's other questions in the chat that I can write up a summary of, I'll be sending that out. Unfortunately, for time right now, we have to end this meeting because the Chancellor's meeting is going to start here in just a few moments. I thank you all. I hope we can remain just to take care of our students, I hope we can remain connected so that we hear what the next wave of concern is going to be. And that's for the students that are going to show up in our classes, because they are also dealing with the same issues we're dealing with. It puts us back into that. How do we serve our students? We have to be able to rely on each other. Okay. With that, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
I am going to take that as for time. We have now adjourned our meeting of the Academic Senate. Thank you all very much for participating. We have had over an average of 100 people at this entire time at this meeting, which I think is a historic high for our 8 a.m. meeting. Good job, faculty.
Right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
So shall I go ahead and do a stop share for everybody, and because we got to move on?
Recording.
Yep.
Stop share for everybody.